Ang kagubot sa Cebu sa 3 de Abril. Niadtong 1890, nagpadayon ang pag-abuso sa mga katsila batok sa mga Pilipino. Kini ang rason nganong natukod ang usa ka organisasyon nga ginganlan og KKK o kataas-taasan kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan didto sa Manila niadtong 1892 ug dinhi sa Cebu niadtong 1897.
Mga kauban, naata diri karon kay mga Pilipino kita. Apan ang Pilipinas dili na atoa. Gikawat sa mga katsila ang atong yutang na tawhan ug dili ni nila buhian hangtod dili na tulangkaton sa ilang mga kamot.
Sakto. Bisan ang sawa pa natog luhod o pangamuyo sa mga katsila. Padre ayawin taon, padre husto na. Di na sila maminaw. Kaysa ilang mga mata, ang mga Pilipino dili tawo kundi ilaga. Indio pa gani ang tawag nila sa tuwa.
Indio. Sunod-sunod lamang kita sa mga katsila. Nasunod-sunod lamang sa mga praile. Nasunod-sunod lamang sa hari sa Espanya. Kinsa may ilang gisilbihan? Ang Ginoo ba? Wala man siguro yung Ginoo nga mahunghong so sa kamembro sa simbahan nga manglugos og babae.
Mga kauban, nakita ko ang inyong nakitaan. Di na maantos ang kalisod sa atong nasod og mga katawhan o kanitungod sa mga katsila nga salbahis. Apan, sa kalibutan ilang gipadagan, kita manginahanglan og tabang.
Sa pagdako sa katipunan, ning grabe pod ang mga puwersa nga gusto mulutos kanila. Usa ka adlaw, ang usa nila kakauban na si Januario Gabrielio nga taga-Basak San Nicolas, gidakop o gidala sa mga katsila sa Fort San Pedro. Gipangutana siya kung kinsa ang iyang mga kauban. Tungod kay gatuo siya nga kung mutug-an siya sa iyang mga nahibaw-an, siya maluwas ug makagawas. Gitug-an niya ang 15 kangalan sa iyang mga kauban, pero imbis nga siya buhian, gipasakita na noon siya og taman hangtod siya namatay.
Tungod atong panghitabua, nagtigom ang mga lider sa katipunan sa balay ni Isidro Gabilondo sa Kareta.
Mga kauban, dili na ito maglangan. Ang sugdan na nato ang revolusyon. Dili pa nila mahurot, patayin na itong mga kauban.
Sakto si Candido. Dili na tuwaton pa nga masamot ang sitwasyon. Ning samot na kini sukad sa pagtunob sa mga katsila diri sa atong nasod. Ayaw mo kahadlok mga kauban. Doon na tay leader nga ingon nila dili madutlan og bala. Dili kini komedya mga kauban. Kublan gid siya.
May buntag, mga kauban. Ako si Kilat. Gikan po ko Negros Oriental.
Tinuod nang dili ka madutlan?
Luis, kumahimo ko nimong pasilon. Ako ang leader sa tumpakal sa ugma. O, ugma. Dili na nato palabyon pa mga adlaw mga kauban. Kay usa ka gutlo nga paglangan, libo ka pa ang kadaugan sa atbang. Mga kauban, dili ta mahadlok. Kini usa ka anting-anting o kini ang rason nga kublan ko. Kublan ko kay mas gusto pa kong mamatay para sa akong nasod kaysa mabuhi nga lipon sa mga langyaw. Isuloob ninyo inyong kaisog. Tama na ko. Itaod ninyo sa inyong kalo sa tabangan sa inyong agtang. O kini ang Bisidora. Usa ka nakapanapton nga naay nakasuwat nga panuwatong Latin o Espanyol. O kana. Mao na ang Stiya Ritundora. Uguman ang papel inigato nato sa gera. Aron dili mo gutumon. Bisig unsa kadugay ang away. Mga kauban, dili lamang kini mga anting-anting ang moprotektar nato sa gera, kundi ang atong kaisog. Bisan kutsilyo ug sundang lay ato batok sa ilang mga pusil ug kanyon. Magmadawgon ta kay wala kitay kahadlok. Sa 3 sa Abril, Mag-alsa kita. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang revolusyon.
Mabuhay ang katipunan!
Mabuhay ang revolusyon!
Gipanguluhan ni Leon Kilat ang panagsangka sa 3 de Abril batok sa mga katsila.
Bantay maigsoon! Hapakamutanan!
Kay balo si Leon nga 5 kabala ang naas sa matag putsil sa mga katsila. Ipuhon nila ang 5 kabuto. Ug inig kahurot sa bala, ang mga katipunero mamarog ug muhasmag.
Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhay ang revolusyon!
May we request everyone to please rise for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem to be led by the Junquera Street Children's Choir.
We Cebuanos aspire to be worthy in following the path taken by our heroes in their fearless fight for a land whose sun and stars forever shine for justice, whose loving embrace is everyone's paradise. We strive to become a people who love our motherland in our every breath and with every drop of our blood, sweat, and tears.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, araw ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, nguyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisikin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bagaw. May ilak ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang islat ng watawat tuwing tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin na taraw niya kailan kamay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwalhating pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa timog. Aming ligaya na may mangkahapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Standing for the opening prayer. Pag-ampo alang sa nabag-ong sugbo. O magbubuhat nag-ampo kami kanimo alang sa usa ka sugbong hingpit nga nabag-o. Ang sugbo nga sa mga bayani gidamgo. Usa ka sugbo nga atong ikapasigarpo. Kami nag-ampo alang sa bag-ong sugbo. Sugboanong maalamon sa among mga kaagi. Nahiusang nagpanday pagkabot sa damgo. Sugbong maisog, mauswagon o gawasnon. Among mga pangandoy para sa matag bata, may pagkaon sa lamesa ug balay makatulgan. May bisting makahupay sa gabii nga matugnaw, giatiman, gipangga sa tibuok katilingban. Kami nag-ampo alang sa bag-ong sugbo, sugboanong dakog garbo sa among mga kaagi. Nahiusang nagpanday, pagkabot sa damgo, sugbong maisog, mauswagon, ug gawasnon. You may now all be seated. Maayong hapon kanatong tanan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause, please. It is a great Saturday today because we are all gathered here to celebrate the 128th year of the Battle of 3 de Abril. And of course, the 9th grand opening anniversary of Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Once again, a big resounding round of thunderous applause to Pamgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Ladies and gentlemen, in front of you is Bisaya friend on socials and Neilroy Impas in person. And I am so glad that I'm going to be your host for today's 𝗠់•𝗴𝗏 at 128, Magic versus Modern Monsters. April 3, 1898, Palm Sunday, the Cebuanos rise up in revolt against Spain. General Pantaleon Villegas, aka Leon Kilat, leads Cebuanos armed with bolos, spears, and knives against a company of Spanish forces in the Battle of 𝗠់⁴ When the Spanish loyalist soldiers see the Katipuneros taking position in the intersection of what it is now, the V. Rama Avenue and 𝗠⁴ Street, they shout to them, "You stupid people, return to your homes. Go away before you are hit by bullets and are killed." The Katipuneros dare the Spaniards to fire, and the latter do just that. The Katipuneros know that Spanish rifles had to be reloaded after 5 shots. So if you can remember the reenactment, they were actually counting up to 5. They were counting the rifle shots up to 5. Thus, they drop on the ground while the Spanish soldiers are firing. They rush to attack while the Spaniards are reloading. A furious hand-to-hand combat ensues. The Spanish soldiers realize that they are no match to the bolos of the Katipuneros. They have no choice but to retreat to Fort San Pedro, leaving most of Cebu City under the control of Katipuneros. So after the successful battle, the membership of Cebu Katipunan rises up to 2,000. Imagine that. Do we belong to the 2,000? Oh. All right, so big round of applause to our Cebu Katipunan group. So of course, ladies and gentlemen, for today's event, we are going to recognize our partners as we give them a big round of applause. First of all, we have DepEd Region 7. A big round of applause, please. Our partner is also 𝗠់⁴ Foundation Incorporated. A big round of applause, please. And we also have our Yandi Heritage Center. A big round of applause, please. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, let us also recognize the participants that we have today. First of all, we have the St. Cecilia's College Cebu Incorporated. A big round of applause, please. We also have the Talisay City College. A big round of applause, please. We also have Asian College of Technology. We also have Cabangahan National High School. We also have Mandawi City Comprehensive National High School. We also have Hilugtog National High School. Science and Technology Education Center. Babag National High School. Abellana National School, Talamban National High School, and Sacred Heart of Cebu, Ateneo de Cebu. Ladies and gentlemen, for today, we are actually jam-packed with activities. And first of all, we are going to be able to see the first ever screening of the animated film, Si Leon, Kilat, ug ang Sigbin by CIT, that is Cebu Institute of Technology University Multimedia students. And then later on, we are also going to have the conversations on the magic versus modern monsters with educator, junior high school principal, Roberto Joseph Galvan. A big round of applause, please. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the awaited part of today's event, the Central Visayas Hybrid Speech Contest with a theme, Dear 𝗠់⁴ Abril Hero, Why I'm Not Ghosting Our Country. O, diba? Sana all dili good a ghost. A big round of applause, please. I believe our contestants for this speech contest are very excited, and we are going to introduce you to them in a bit. And of course, for our Congress, the Cebu Heritage Hotel's 9th anniversary celebration, we are going to have our Saulog join us in our 9th anniversary celebration tonight. We will be having a raffle draw for a free overnight stay. And we are also going to have a singing contest. Kantahay dyan, no? Basta mga Bisaya, lami dyan mo kanta, eh? Singing contest of Abtik Paskilat songs. So, di ba? Dapat Abtik Paskilat lang dyan ng mga kanta atong kantahon. And then we will also have games. And together with that, of course, there are prizes as well. And we are also going to have an anniversary dinner buffet sa Kapihan ni Lumaya at 6 o'clock this evening up until 10 o'clock in the evening. Okay, alas 6 hantod sa alas 10 ang atuang buffet karon diri only here at Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So for our Abtik Paskilat singing contest, if you think you have what it takes, if you think you have the voice, sing any of Palmgrass Abtik Paskilat songs and win in celebration of Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel's 9th anniversary. This is open to all interested participants. You just have to choose any of Abtik Paskilat songs, and performance will be on April 11, 2020, which is tonight, at 8 o'clock in the evening. So asa man taani dapita at taani magkanta-kanta sa Dagami. Kapihan ni Lumaya. Alright. So ato ta dito manganta tas kanta sa mga Abtik Paskilat songs. Okay? So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I believe our contestants nagpanghawid na ni sila sa ilahon because they're very excited to meet you all, guys, and we are going to introduce them one by one. And first of all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, our introduction of Central Visayas Wide Hybrid Speech Contest, 3 de Abril, Why I'm Not Ghosting My Country contestants. Let us start with our contestant number 1. She is a student, a grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, Basak, Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, Division of Lapu-Lapu City. Ladies and gentlemen, 𝗠់•𝗴𝗏 followed by our contestant number 2, a grade 11 student from Cabangahan National High School, Consolacion, Cebu Division of Cebu Province, Bernardine Vallejo. Our contestant number 3 is a grade 6 student from Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu, Barangay Canduman, Mandaue City, Cebu Division of Mandaue City, Vera Moira S. Chua. And our contestant number 4 from Barangay Canduman, Mandaue City, Cebu as well, a grade 11 student from Ateneo de Cebu, Althea Cassandra S. Luar. Our contestant number 5, a grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, Basak, Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, Division of Lapu-Lapu City, Kija Oz Apa. Our contestant number 6 is coming from a Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, Alang-Alang, Mandaue City, Cebu, Division of Mandaue City, grade 12 student, Angel Laika Perenio. Our contestant number 7 is coming from Abiliana National School, Barangay Sambagdo, Cebu City, Division of Cebu City, grade 11 student, Red Spinzer G. Fernandez. Our contestant number 8 is also from Abiliana National School, Division of Cebu City, grade 11, Sheen Nesdel Gokong. Our contestant number 9 is from Babag National High School, Division of Lapu-Lapu City, a grade 11 student, Dan Vincent Puso. Contestant number 10 is a grade 12 student from 𝗟𝗏𝗃 National High School, Barili, Cebu. Sherilyn P. Fat. Our contestant number 11 is coming from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, Alang-Alang, Mandaue City, Cebu Division of Mandaue City, a grade 12 student, Zenric Jean Niones. And our contestant number 12 is coming from Talamban National High School, Division of Cebu City, or grade 11 student, Samantha Kate Mingo. Our last but never the least contestant number 13 from Talamban National High School, a grade 11 student, AJ Kumaling. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our 13 contestants who will be showing their prowess in all their speeches this afternoon. But before that, we're actually blessed and privileged to be graced by a message coming from the office of a Cebu Governor, Pamela 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗀. So here we go. Here in my hand, a message from the Republic of the Philippines, Province of Cebu, Office of the Governor. Maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. I extend my warmest greetings to Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, as you commemorate the 128th anniversary of 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 and celebrate your 9th grand opening anniversary. This occasion is a meaningful reminder of who we are as Cebuanos. 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a story of courage, resistance, and the unwavering love of our forefathers for Cebu. It reminds us that the freedoms we enjoy today were fought for with sacrifice, unity, and strength of spirit. And today, I am glad to see that this story continues to be told, not only in books, but through spaces like Palmgrass that preserve, promote, and bring our heritage to life for the next generation. To our young people, I know you take this moment to truly understand where you came from. Because when you know your roots, you stand stronger in facing the future. Let us carry forward the spirit of 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, not only in remembrance, but in how we live today, with courage, with integrity, and with love for our fellow Cebuanos. Padayon ta. Ato ang sugbo. Daghang salamat ug maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Pamela S. 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. A big round of applause to our Province of Cebu Governor Pam 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Thank you very much as well, of course, Governor Pam, for your message today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are also being graced a message coming from our Cebu Association of Local Tourism Officers, and this message is also coming from Mr. Earl Vincent Indab. Let me just prepare. All right, here we go. Here is the message from Cebu Association of Local Tourism Officers Incorporated. Mabuhay! Today, we gather to commemorate the 128th anniversary of the Battle of 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, a defining moment in our history that reflects the bravery, unity, and sacrifice of our Cebuano heroes in their fight for freedom. As we reflect on this year's theme, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 at 128, Magic versus Modern Monsters, we are reminded that while the battles of the past were fought with courage and bolos, the battles of today come in different forms. Our modern monsters may be seen in the challenges we face as a society: division, misinformation, environmental threats, and the gradual loss of our cultural identity. But just as our ancestors found strength in unity and love for their homeland, we too possess our own kind of magic. It is found in our collective action, our resilience, and our commitment to do what is right for our communities. This magic lives in every Filipino who chooses integrity over convenience, truth over falsehood, and unity over division. Let this commemoration serve not only as a remembrance of the past, but also as a call to action. Each of us has a role to play in overcoming the challenges of our time, whether through simple acts of kindness, responsible citizenship, or active participation in community building. We contribute to a stronger and more hopeful future. As we honor the courage of our heroes, may we also embody the spirit in our daily lives. Let us stand firm. Let us stand firm against today's challenges and continue to move forward with purpose, pride, and unity. 𝗠់ጽሕ salamat. The President of Cebu Association of Local Tourism Officers Incorporated, Mr. 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗚. A big round of applause, please. Thank you, Mr. Indab, for that beautiful message. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as promised earlier, one of the highlights that we are going to have today is the first ever screening of the animated film based on the children's book, 𝗠់Kilat ug ang Sigbin, and that is going to be done, and that is done by the CIT multimedia students. A big round of applause, please.
Ang mga Cebuano, palibang ng nanagat, sa liham ni Abril, ang mga katsila nga misakmit sa ilang kuwa nga mga isda.
Pagkaon ni sa among pamilya, wala na nihibilin alang namo, ibalik ang inyong gikawat.
Gikulata sila sa mga katsila o gikawat ang tanan nilang kuha.
Wala milabot kung magutma ng inyong pamilya. Mubayan mo buhis.
Nakit ang kini ni Pantaleon Villegas. Umasakitan siya nga wala siya'y nahimo.
Unsa man ang akong mabuhat. Usar ko katawo.
Dayon, kalit-namidag tumanglang. Naigo siya sa kilat ug natumba. Dito sa layo, usa ka tag-iya sa sirkus nagtanaw sa nahito. Kung nahinumduman niya ang usa ka panagna.
Kung kinsa ka katoy may susilan, makakaangsa sa gusto sa pagpapalala.
Asa ang mananambal?
Buhi pagkanawa, ni mata na siya.
Pagmata ni Pantalyon, nakurat siya nga nagpalibot na niya mga tao sa lungsod, mao nga midagan siya padulong sa lasang. Nakita ni Pantalyon ang Sigbin nga gikulata sa mga sila.
Wala ko'y gibuhat na
Idong tinuglong ang mananang, may dalag di malas. Tapuson na ito kini.
Sa paghawa sa mga katsila, itambalan ni Pantalyon ang mga samad sa Sigbin sa gamhanang mga dahon.
Kaluoy. Tabangan ka na ako.
Ibalik si Pantalyon sa lungsod ug nangita og trabaho. Nakaplagan niya ang usa ka sirkus nga mopasundayag sa laing-laing dapit sa Pilipinas. Ang tag-iya sa sirkus, sakop di ay sa kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. Usa ka tinago-tagong pundok na nakig-away batok sa mga katsila.
Nalawas siya gikan sa kilat, sama sa gingon sa panagnak. Tingali, siya na jud ang pinili.
Nakuha ni Pantalyon ang trabaho sa sirkus ug ang tag-iya sa sirkus mitudlo ni Pantalyon og eskrima ug mga salamangka.
Ang pakigaway, dili lang bahin sa kusog. May tungod usab kini sa kaabtik, estratehiya o gamay nga salamangka.
Tanaw na to kung nako.
Watuyo ang nga nasaksihan niya ang usa ka paghurat sa katipunan ug mihangyo siyang magpasakop sa organisasyon. Kilataan niya pinaagi sa grupo niyang pagpanumpa ug ang iya ngalan nahimo ng Leon Kilat. Gitibo ni Leon ang katipunan sa Subo nga gipanguluhan ni Candido Padilla. Iyang gisulob ang iyang mga anting-anting ug gipakita ang mga gahong nini.
Kini nga mga anting-anting ang maghatag sa kaninyo ug kaisog sa panahon sa gubat.
Manalipod ba kini na to?
Kung kini makapaligon sa atong mga kasing-kasing, kinahanglan mohimo kita og daghan.
Misiga ang bestidora ni Leon ug milupad siya padulong sa langit. Nahipunong pag-ayo ang mga Subuanon ug dasig nilang gipadaghan ang mga anting-anting.
Tungod niini, dili na kita mahadlok.
Ang gahom anaa sa imong kabubuton sa pagpakig-away. Ang anting-anting usa lamang kapahinumdum.
Kinahanglang mangandam na kita. Pagabot sa panahon, iniusa kitang muasdang.
Mahuwi ang katipunan.
Sa Abril 2, 1898, sa balay ni Isidro Gabilondo, ang mga leader sa katipunan sa Subo nga silang Leon Kilat, Luis Flores ug uban pa mihukom nga sugdan ang pag-alsa sa sunod adlaw tungod kay gipangpatay na sa mga katsila ang ilang mga kauban.
Magig-away kita ugma alang sa Subo ug sa Pilipinas, alang sa kagawasan.
Mahuwi ang katipunan.
Abril 3, sakay sa pletsa, nanawag si Leon sa mga katipunero nga sugdan na ang pag-alsa ni Anang Hapuna.
Leon, gusto mo ba sa
Kung mo, sakay uban ka nako, akong higala.
Sa panagsangka sa 3 de Abril sa San Nicolas, gamit ang mga sundang o kutsilyo, ang mga Subuano nakig-away sa mga katsila human sa unang pugna sa buto-buto. Kinahanglan pa nga mukarga og mga bala sa ilang mga pusil ang mga katsila. Mauna ang mga Subuano nakahigayon sa paghasmag sa mga katsila. Guslak nila ang kasing-kasing sa mga katsila at sila mamatay kung iatras ang mga katsila.
Alyate! Cebu!
Sa Abril 5, sakay sa puting kabayo, si Leon nangulo sa pagsulong sa Plaza de San Pedro na kampo sa mga katsila. Diin ang mga bala sa pusil ug kanon wala moigo kaniya. Human sa pinakaadlaw, niabot ang mga katsila gikan sa laing lugar ug ipangsunog ang mga baryo duol sa dagat. Si Leon Kilat, uban sa iyang kabayo, mitadlas ngadto sa karkar nga samang Kilat. Apan gihiluan sa mga nagtago nga katsila ang iyang kabayo ug naluya kini. Gihubog sa mga traidor sa karkar si Leon ug samtang natulog, gitangtangan siya sa iyang mga anting-anting ug giluba siya sa 8 ka traidor.
Ikaw, gibudhian nimo ang imong kaugaling katawan. Ang away, dili matapos kini kanako.
Ang kabayo ni Leon Kilat, mauti ay ang Sigbin. Ibalik kini sa iyang orihinal na forma. Papanulahin na. Patay na si Leon Kilat. Sa Disyembre 24, bispera sa Pasko, nagtanaw ang Sigbin sa ulog ang
Ato na ang
sa
Subo!
kalugan sa revolusyon sa Subo. Uban ang mga leader nga silang Luis Flores at Arcado Maximo. Kinsa mi padayon sa pagpapig-away bisan pa sa kamatayon ni Leon Kilat.
Leon, namatay ka nga wala di mo kini makita. Apan ang imong katawan. Midawog!
Everybody was close to see one Kilat from Sigbin, so you can actually see how animated graphics nice, amazing, right? So right now we are also privileged to be able to meet the people behind when it comes to New Institute of Technology University multimedia students we are going to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce. Let us welcome them with a round of applause. We have first Lee Grant Theoden Martinez. And ladies and gentlemen, we also have Precious Lynn S. Dio. A big round of applause. They are the students behind the animated film 𝗠𝗴𝗡𝗀𝗃. Let us hear from them.
Nabunggan ako sa luyo. Na Congress o ni Miss A sa tabang ug sa hospitality nga ilang gihatag sa amo while naghimo mi sa project. Kana dungog na. Okay. Otrohon ako. Okay, so ako kayong salamat sa ilang gihatag. Wa jud sila nagkuwang sa tabang nga ilang gihatag sa amo sa pag-record sa mga actor sad sa story sad niya. It's an honor for us to retell the stories nga gisuwat sa mga bata sa naghimo sa atong libro. And dakong salamat kayo for this humble establishment nga nasilaying ani nga mga panghinabua nga magkatapok-tapok ang mga tao nga gihigugma ang atong kaniadto. Nya for me ang last na ko nga message is hopefully nga ang mga bata magpadayon sa kaning cause nga gisugdan ni Palmgrass nga to retell and to learn the history more and para they can inculcate it sa atong mga future nga mga tao.
Okay. So for myself, no, it's okay. So for me, I am so grateful for Palmgrass and the rest of your team. Mapasalamatan gyud mi nga gi-allow ninyo may ipag-advocate sa amon idea throughout expressing your love of heritage, our Cebu heritage of animation. It's an honor working with you from the voice recordings, the actors, and the overall support. We're thankful for this humble establishment to continue to inspire the Cebuano youths. And we hope that our animation will continue to inspire others to make their own, and hopefully they'll be inspired to create one animation like si Leon Kilat ug ang Sigbin.
Ay kuan na pa day last time since sorry ang kuan ani siya ang gipakita karon kay usato sa mga version nga gihimo namo and kuan ni siya among gi-try i-aim siya nga mabasa sa mga estudyante so amo siyang gi-try nga masulod sa kanang usa ka subject so para makit-an siya sa mga sunod nga mga estudyante dili ra sa kani sa whole sa Palmgrass ra niya amo siyang gi-try nga i-hit na mo siya nga ma-appeal siya sa lection kanang sa mga short stories sa mga bata nga gi-hit. So naghimo mig duha ka versions although dili ganahan si Miss A ani pero gihimuan na mo og kanang Filipino version sad para sa mga national na mga students nga kaila sila ni Leon Kilat kung kinsa man siya og unsa ang istorya ni Leon Kilat sa atong kaniadto sa atong history in the Philippines. Ug unsa sad ka dako si Leon Kilat.
Amazing. Thank you ever so much, Lee and Precious. We're gonna answer siguro ninyong question, but if you would like to add, okay. Thank you ever so much for sharing your experiences in, producing the animated film for si Leon Kilat ug ang Sigbin. Amazing, no? So, mo na siya ang pinaka-importante, no? That we will have a lot of, more produced materials, contents na Cebuanified because most of us, most of the time Americanized kita, no? Westernized kita. Na siguro uban diri mga Koreanized na. Okay, so yep. Thank you ever so much, Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, for advocating, for being a champion of, sa tawagan na, ato ang pagka-Cebuano na, ato ang heritage, ato ang history, ato ang kultura, ato ang pagka-Cebuano. Okay? So let us Cebuanify, di ba? Ang ato ang mga creations, ang ato ang mga contents, ipakita na to kung unsa ka ligon, og unsa kalami ang mga Cebuano. Charot, lami jud, lami mo buhat, lami mo, 'di ba? Mo storya, lami mo Lami mo lihok, lami mo, di ba, mo produce, di ba? So once again, thank you ever so much to our Cebu Institute of Technology University multimedia students, spearheaded by Lee Grant Dioben Martinez and of course Precious Lynn S. Deo. Big round of applause, please. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to our conversations as I am going to introduce to you our moderator for today's conversations. That is the magic. Oh, yes, message for the, yes, before that. Of course, we are going to hear a message from the person behind Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, that is none other than our very own Miss 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗃. Big round of applause, please.
Maayong hapon natong tanan nga ni akaron diri to all of us who love history and who love freedom. So lipayong pagsaulog sa usa ka gatos ug kauhan ug walo ka tuig. Murag pwede sige lang, okay, ready. Malipayong pagsaulog sa usa ka gatos ug kauhan ug walo ka tuig nga kasumaran sa panagsangka sa Trust de Abril. To our esteemed judges of our contest with the theme, Dear Trust de Abril Hero, Why I Am Not Ghosting My Country, to journalists from Sunstar Cebu, Dr. Nestor Ramirez, to our veteran theater artist and also from Toastmasters, Miss Marlinda Angbetic Tan, also a heritage advocate, to Flag Cebu, our human rights defender lawyers, Attorney J. Pujanes. Daghang salamat for being with us and for lending us your wisdom today. We are also thankful for the beautiful messages from Cebu Governor Pamela Baricuatro and to the Cebu Tourism Officers President Earl Vincent Indab. Daghang salamat for those messages that tell us that, of course, our leaders also care about our history and about our heroes. To all the Katipunero descendants gathered here today, especially also to the one who guided our Bag-ong Teatro Junquera reenactors of the Battle of Tres de Abril, Iris Alinio Fernandez. Daghang salamat for guiding the students bisag kabalotang rehearsal pagyapon to ganina. So galisod gid atong mga bata. So to our Junquera street children, daghang salamat for sharing with us your beautiful voice. To the rebranding Junquera Street partners, so of course, Dr. Nestor here is the one who really started the rebranding Junquera Street program. To the heritage advocates and to the Cebuano youth, to all of us gathered here, to our guests at Palmgrass, once again, malipayong pagsaulog sa usa ka gatos o kauhaan ug walo 128th year of the Battle of Tres de Abril. Today is also a day of gratitude for us as we celebrate the 9th grand opening anniversary of Palmgrass, Cebu's only heritage hotel. So 9 years ago, we opened our doors with a promise to be a living museum and to be the only hotel museum in Cebu. Pwede naman sa dahil musunod, no? Actually, we have heard about, they were sharing about our former mga staff here that when they go to other properties, they are also asked how can they apply what Palmgrass is doing? And then they would say, no, we cannot copy Palmgrass. So we are a hotel museum, and this is a space where history is not a ghost of the past, but a heartbeat of the present. We gather here at 3 o'clock. We usually have our events at 3 o'clock because we remember that 128 years ago on Tres de Abril, it was the time when our ancestors, with only bolos and knives, won against the Spanish forces at San Nicolas, and now is called Tres de Abril Street. So at the same hour, 128 years ago, the oppressive Spanish colonial rule was broken by the cry for freedom. Led by our great hero, General Leon Kilat, Pantaleon Villegas, our ancestors proved that the revolution was not just a story from the north. It was a Cebuano and Visayan fire. The legacy they left us is KKK. And for us, it's kaisog, courage, kalantip, wisdom, and kaabtik, decisiveness. But most importantly, they left us the anting-anting, the amulet of compassion and grit. Only hearts that care will have the steadfastness and persistence to win a better life for our people. They knew, our heroes, our ancestors knew that before they can fight for our country, for a country, you must first love its people enough to never give up on them. And so we remember the poem of the great hero Andres Bonifacio with the title, Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa. And a line in that poem said, aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya, gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa. And it also has a line that says, whatever he has, whatever you have, you give it all to the motherland. Dudong luha kaitiisat pagod. Ay, wala na ako ba ma-notes. So it is also in a song, Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa. It was made into a song by Inang Laya. It is in the YouTube. It can be found at YouTube. And so it was also the inspiration when our award-winning song, Hugot Pasuot, it is by award-winning poet, multi-awarded poet Adonis Dorado, wrote a song entitled Hugot Pasuot, and it means a tighter than thought love for country. So we cannot be heroes. Our ancestors did not become heroes. No one can become a hero without a heart that loves, especially most of all the people, and especially those who need it most, the marginalized people. So if our leaders, wala din sa akong script, if our leaders do not have the heart for our people, our country will not become what our heroes fought for. They fought for a better life for everyone and not just for a few. And the dreams of our heroes will not be fulfilled if our leaders do not have the heart that loves. So this year, our theme is magic versus modern monsters. And we are asking, what does the magic of 1898 look like in 2026? Last year, our youth spoke as the heroes. So they were actually dressing up as the hero that they admire, and they talk like the hero. So this year, our youth are writing to the heroes. Through this Cebu-wide speech contest, they are answering a critical question: why I am not ghosting our country in this age of misinformation and social apathy. And it's usually said, nonchalant kaayo siya. So in this age of nonchalance or apathy, there are modern monsters we face. But the magic is rising again. We still believe in magic. Dahil kanta that our favorite, Got to Believe in Magic. We always believe in magic, and we see it in the voices of the youth. I read their speeches, and I felt the magic in their words. Our speech contestants who choose to stay and build rather than look away. We have seen the animated film of the children's story. That story was written by Cebuano children and made into a film by these very talented students from CIT University. And so it proves that our myths can teach us modern bravery. And we have our talented students here once again. We have Karil Lynn Kalit, Precious Lynn Dio, Rujan, Ruhan Xavier Goles, and Lee Grant Joben Martinez. We worked closely with them. We discussed the story. We rehearsed so many times, but they lacked time, so I wasn't able to see the final work. So I saw it only a few days ago when we tried to look for it in our Google Drive. So we also have the performances of the Bag-ong Teatro Junquera. So we still see hope that we will have better performances and more polished performances in the future, and also the Junquera Street Children's Square. Daghang salamat. So we will also hear insights this afternoon from our educator from Ateneo de Cebu, Roberto Joseph Galvan, on how the 1898 lessons will inspire the youth of today in navigating modern day problems. So at Palmgrass, we believe that history should be fun. It should be bold. It should be breathtaking. And from all spaces here at Palmgrass, at our restaurant, Kapihan ni Lumaya, library restaurant, Kapihan ni Lumaya, our mini museum, Galeria Independencia, although the whole hotel is a museum, at our roof deck bar, Hardin Dagami, named in honor of Chief Dagami, who led the revolt against Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. This hall, named Hawanan Tres de Abril, every corner in this hotel is a weapon against forgetting. So we do this because we don't want to forget. We want to remember how our ancestors shed blood, sweat, and tears for a better country. We should not forget. And and how not to forget is to continue their dreams and to continue working that their dreams and aspirations would finally be fulfilled. Buhay pa katana. So really hope that in our lifetime, change would happen. And we are so hopeful for the youth to do this. Kung wala na ta. So we are deeply honored that this mission continues to be recognized by our city. We had the Outstanding Institution Award in 2024 by the Cebu City Government. We have an award for me as an outstanding individual for the heritage advocacy in the hospitality industry. Although I would say that I'm embarrassed by this award. But these awards confirm that heritage is not just extracurricular. It is essential for the community, and it is essential for our nation to thrive. And of course, this has become here at Palmgrass, this has become possible because of all our dedicated, hardworking, and talented staff, the management, the interns of Palmgrass, our consultants, our friends, our guests, and all of you here who have helped in our advocacy. So we look forward to the day when the Battle of Tres de Abril will already become a national day of pride for everyone and not just for us here at Palmgrass. And so to be a national day of pride, reminding that every Cebuano, Visayan, Filipino, that a better future is possible if we refuse to ghost our people. Stop the ghost projects. Stop ghosting. Modern. Hello, ghost projects are there, we don't ghost, stop ghosting our people. So stay with us tonight as we continue the celebration with Abtik Paskilat songs. And we thank our partners, the DepEd Region 7, the Tres de Abril Foundation, and the Yandi Heritage Center. Let us keep on showing up for our country together. Malipayong pagsaulog sa usa ka gatos ug kahuan ug 8 ka tuig nga panagsangka sa Tres de Abril ug sa ikasiyam nga tuig sa Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Daghang salamat.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you ever so much, Ms. Agripina Guivalond of Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, for having the heart that loves for our motherland, of course, and for our Cebuano heritage. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually going to show, before we move on to our conversations, we have a video that we can watch. This is created by UP, University of the Philippines, and University of San Carlos students, retelling the Battle of Tres de Abril. This is entitled Pabayon Sis.
Mams, pack up na. Hinay-hinay na tagdakop diri. Dili na maghuwat ang revolusyon. Grabe na ang krisis diri sa Cebu.
TMD na jud boss. Gimo ta nanugma.
Yes, yes.
Mabuhay ang Universal, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Oh wait. What time gani? Uy. What time magsugod ang kuan ang gira?
Asa nakato si Flores? Padung na ba kato siyang posisyon? Wala man jud ni text.
Alam jud to siya ay cold.
Sigugot dira revolusyon ba yan eh?
Ay pang revolusyon tinudon nimo.
Saba daw pangita ato si Flores.
Hi guys! On my way to Fort San Pedro, Hatipunan for the win! Watch out you Spaniards! Coming at you! We're gonna get you!
Oh man, G! Oh! Dito na pita, sir! Oh man, asa man ta? Oh my God, we need to BRB. Oh, Luis! Nalagi ka diri?
Nakadungo man ko sa buto-buto. Ayaw kay boss?
Okay ray na, magutay anting-anting. Ka-cute sa gini mo. No-worry ka na ko.
Siyempre, uy. Basta liberation, tabang-tabang na ita.
A few moments later.
Revolution! Revolution! Uy! Selfie tayo na.
Uy, nitag chicharon din na. Kailangan si chicharon din si Gaskar.
Dili lang sa ako, pabiling lang. Sige.
All right, a big round of applause for that video. O, diba? Padayon sis kayo, no? Unsa ka ano kung nano siya technology pareha sa to before ba, no? Lo, group chat. Uy, kayang gera, uy. Asa man siya ta? Kanos ang siya mo abante, ane? Aw, atras. Aw, ni nana. Diba, no? So a big round of applause. Those are actually made by our students coming from University of the Philippines and University of San Carlos. Okay? So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to our next highlight of the day. That is our conversations, of course, with our topic magic versus modern monsters. And our, of course, our moderator for today is, of course, none other than our very own from the Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel, Ms. 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏. A big round of applause, please.
So, daghang salamat to Neil, who also a heritage advocate and one of the mentors of the voice coaches of the Junquera Street Children's Choir. Hindi siya maangkod. Maangkod din siya. So, daghang salamat. He also is one of the members of the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Visayas, also a choir group supported by Palmgrass. So, thank you very much and congratulations to the students who made that video before I was shown. So that video was made in 2018 by the students of University of the Philippines and also University of San Carlos. So it actually it was a product of a workshop led by our partner in heritage advocacy, 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀, my higher year in college in Mascom at UP. He was here in 2018 until he would come here sometimes and made those videos, that some of the videos that you have seen. And he helped the students. Actually, the students are the one who made the script and shot the video. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏 helped in the final editing. So we really are so inspired when we see the young people use their talent in creating content that that reminds us of our history, of the valor of our heroes. And so we get so inspired. So you have seen that 𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗀𝗃 was murdered. It's also in the 𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗀𝗃 o Sigbin nga gisugilon sa mga Sugbuanong bata, brought to life through film by the students of CIT. So even if they experienced setbacks, it did not deter them. They still continued. And then we would know in some other discussions here at Palmgrass that our historians would say that the Treaty of Paris was not actually, the Visayas and the Mindanao were not actually part of, initially, it was not part of the Treaty of Paris. The Spaniards only sold Luzon to the Americans. They wanted to keep the Visayas and Mindanao as their colony. But they could not do it because there were already revolutions launched in the Visayas and in the Visayas especially. So that's why wala nila makaya. So we won our revolution December of 1898. Bisan namatay, even if 𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗀𝗃 was betrayed and murdered on a Good Friday, we still won our victory against the Spanish colonizers on Christmas Eve of 1898. And this is different because in Luzon, they were not able to go inside Intramuros. But our ancestors, our heroes in Cebu, were able to get Fort San Pedro. They ruled Cebu without the Americans from December of 1898 until February 21, 1899. The Americans came on February 21 to 1899, and they flew their flag on February 23 at Fort San Pedro. So anyway, we have other discussions about that. So now we would like to introduce to you our kachika, our resource person this afternoon, an educator. So we want to know the thoughts of an educator of how to mold the young people. What is the situation of the young people today? Are they ready to follow the path taken by our heroes? As we said, actually the one who voiced the introduction of our national anthem, it was voiced by the illustrator of our book, si Leon Kilat o ang Sigbin nga gisugilon sa mga Sugbuanong bata, is Christine Sabaan. When she was 16, she illustrated the book, si Leon Kilat. She's from Ateneo. But the song was performed by the Junquera children from Camagayan. So our resource person today was also a student leader when in college. Siya mo appeal sa iyo. Ay, saan mo po ikaw ma-introduce? So he was a student leader from wala pa diri asa siya di graduate. He is an educator. Ako lang isultian niya. He is an educator and a servant leader with experience in instructional leadership, curriculum design, and management of learning programs. He is engaged in evaluation, assessment, and research, supporting data-informed educational practices. He has participated in professional development activities, including Philippine Education Conference in 2023, a legal forum for educators and school administrators, orientation conferences, and on the implementation of ESC and TS programs, and a Jesuit Basic Education Commission workshop. So our resource person this afternoon was a student leader when he was in college. He graduated anthropology, di ba? Anthropology at the University of San Carlos, and he is now the junior high school principal of Ateneo de Cebu. Please help me welcome Roberto Joseph Galvan.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss A. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be invited to be part of the celebration of the 128th anniversary of the Battle of Tres de Abril. And of course, congratulations to Cebu Palm Grass Hotel on your 9th anniversary. I remember I was here before when we launched certain activities, including the Hugot nga song.
Ikaw ba to the MC?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
I was
he was
part
also
of that,
an MC here.
of that event as well. But I'm happy to be part of this, and it's true. I've been with education for quite some time, probably for a couple of decades now. And I work in administration, part of Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu administration. In terms of working with the youth, the driving force really behind my commitment to working with the youth is that faith that the better Philippines would come from the next generation. Perhaps it's sad that our generation, we did our best to help build a progressive Philippines, but the effort still falls short. So it's incumbent on the next generation to continue the work to build a progressive country that we all deserve. So that still inspires me, you know. And I think that's true. We were part of the student movement that would believe that the young people play a role in broadcasting the issues of the Filipinos, and young people play a part in terms of continuing the efforts of awakening. No, when you talk about the 1898 revolution, it was actually there were pre-activities that happened. No, it did not just happen all of a sudden. 1898 na the revolution happened. A lot of things happened before that. And those things, the awakening, the raising of awareness, were for the most part the effort of young people. No? Young people like Jose Rizal, Emilio Aguinaldo, Andres Bonifacio, Gregorio del Pilar, Leon Kilat was a young person as well. Our Cebuano leaders were young people when they chose to invest their energies to the revolution and to freedom, no? To winning the freedom against the oppression of Spain. So until now, I do work mainly with administration, but for the most part, my work really is with teachers, no? Helping teachers in their craft of delivering good education.
Yeah, so daghang salamat, Robert. So actually, when we have also this rebranding Junquera program, and we have our partners like University of San Carlos, we have UV. In the previous year, we have the University of San Jose Recoletos. One of our discussions with the priests, for example, at the University of San Carlos, at the SVD, we would discuss. So our leaders today are product of course, the public school system, and aside from that, by the Catholic schools. So what has happened to is there something in our educational system that when they are, of course, the Christian formation, for example, in Catholic schools, how did they produce like socially conscious and really, like for example, for Ateneo, it's men and women for others. For the University of San Carlos, it's witness of the word. So that's why when we had actually we discussed with SVD Superior Father Bag-ong, in their partnership with us, we said, your students, when they would come here and to help the Junquera Street Children's Choir or the Teatro Junquera, we would really bring them to the community so that they would see the situation of the poor. So that when they become leaders, they would remember there are people suffering. We should not be thinking of ourselves only. So,
that's right. That's what we've been saying all along for a long time. No, the schools are not really isolated from what's happening in society. So they're part and parcel of society at large. In Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu, our mission really is to form and train young people to become innovators. No, because that's the call of the times. You have to be innovative. You have to be adaptive. You have to adjust to a constantly changing world. But we emphasize that innovation is not only about coming up with the next new thing, the next new idea. Social innovation should be socially responsible. So as students, when they grow up, they become leaders in their own respective fields. They should be accountable and responsible for the kind of innovation that they create. And part of our mission also, aside from forming socially responsible innovators, is to also form transformational leaders. So it's not just, you're correct, no, to say that, no, to form young people into men and women for others, they have to be elements of transformation. They don't just only become leaders for themselves, but they have to lead with transformation in mind. What is the common good? Unsay makamaayo sa kadaghanan. Particularly in the context of the Philippines, kadaghanan din sa nato, that would mean the poor, the marginalized. So that should be what is in mind of Ateneo Hearters when they become leaders after their formation and education at Sacred Heart School. But of course, you're striking a complex problem when you say na naunsa naman ning Pilipinas, the best schools produce the best leaders, yet unsa man ang klase sa leadership, no, ang mga leaders nato nga gikan sa private schools minsan are the ones also that are involved in issues that affect our people, responsible for some of them. I'm not saying all, no, but baka I might be misquoted. No, some of them are involved into the ghost projects, the flood control. The best engineers sometimes are the ones that are also working with the department that are good at finding ways, mga palusot, para makaganansya, no? So what is wrong with education? And tingali, we go back to what we've been reading back in college, no? I don't know if you still recall, Renato Constantino once wrote, no, about the miseducation of the Filipino. And ang giingon niya nga hangtod karon ang Filipino is miseducated. Tungod kay we are not teaching nationalism enough in our educational system. And sa pagkatinuod, it's both naay opportunity to teach nationalism, but at the same time naapoy challenge. Tungod kay cluttered kayo, daghan kayo kailangan itudlo sa mga bata, nya usahay ang leaning is not so much og unsay panginahanglan sa pagkakaroon, no, ang importansya sa nationalism. In fact, ang atong pattern magud sa education is after the American system, and the American education is internationalist ni siya. For the world kanunay. Kasi syempre, America is a leader in the world man, but the Philippines is not a leader in the world. Dapat unahon nato ang unsay panginahanglan sa atong nasod, no? Unsay need sa atong katawhan. So the nationalist fervor is diluted, I would say, in the way we teach education as a whole in the country. And sometimes that's still the call, no? I still find nga that's still a valid call put forward by Renato Constantino before in the 70s, I think, na we need to strengthen nationalist education in our curriculum, in our schools, such that it will be primarily the interest of the Filipino people that will be in the minds and heart of our students, of our young people, instead of what's the interest of other countries, especially our beloved colonizers before. No, I would like to call them my favorite colonizer, former colonizers, because we still think like them. No, we still like them very much. Colonial mentality, no, it's still very much prevalent. We still love what is Western. We still are bombarded with everything that is Western. So that's still a work in progress as far as education is concerned.
Daghang salamat, Robert. So I remember now, when we talked with a dato in an indigenous cultural community in Mindanao, in Bukidnon, Ahigaunon dato. And he was telling me, he was so emotional. He was like nearly in tears, telling me about how the different institutions in government are killing their culture. He was saying, our children our children, they are higaunon, but they no longer are proud of their being higaunon. Our children go to school every day. They are just with us 2 days. So that means in most of their waking hours, they are in school. And so we could not teach the children our culture. And then the church is killing our own religion, our indigenous religion. The healthcare system is killing our own indigenous health system. So even our own political system. So that is the challenge. How can the cultures of local communities be promoted even in the educational system? Is that possible? So can I share also we are all products of the educational system. When of course I was in a Catholic school, exclusive school for girls, we were also taught to be women for others. And then when I went to UP, the teaching is scholar ng bayan, and you should be a university of the poor, and then so you should give back to the community. And then so that is what our teachers say, di ba?
Correct. That's true. It still is pretty much the message, no. But I would still stand on the line na kulang ang efforts towards nationalist education in our schools. DepEd now has a good efforts in terms of having what do you call this, mga madrasa schools, and even schools that are promoting of our ethnic cultures, no. But this is very, very minimal, no? In the greater scheme of things, gamay lang ang support nga provided. The Jesuits have a mission in Bukidnon, for example. There's a school there that supports the Jesuits, by the way, are the owners of Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu. And the Bukidnon mission works with the tribal communities in Bukidnon. And they do promote culture, the local culture. And of course, ang problem lang is, if of course they are also compelled to implement the curriculum of DepEd that requires for English as the use of as the medium of instruction, the regular curriculum. So in terms of infusing the local culture, you really have very, very few spaces or few opportunities. Very difficult sometimes, no? Because you always have to run after coverage to cover a lot of content, but you miss sometimes the opportunity to infuse local culture. Let me take the example of our local history. No, history in private schools or in public education is taught in elementary. So in fact, right now, grade 1, 2, 3 history is already part of Makabansa. So it's fused with other subjects, physical education and so on. And there's also grade 4 to 6. There's Philippine history. But when you get to high school, Philippine history is very, very minimal. You already start studying about Asian history, world history, economics, contemporary issues for junior high school. And by the time they get into senior high school, there's no more history in the curriculum anymore. So where do you place local history? There's no place there unless you're creative enough to infuse it intentionally. Isulod yun nimo, dadon nimo mga estudyante pagbisita sa Palmgrass Hotel, Cebu Heritage Hotel, for example, no, to learn about Leon Kilat. So Leon Kilat is just a paragraph or two siguro sa textbooks sa grade school. So it's not really that explicitly discussed. So unless you're a creative educator, you can find a way to infuse all these things. But the curriculum is too congested with so many other things that especially the drive towards an international market, I would say, and to support the arrangements wherein our economy continues to become import dependent and export oriented, and we will not change that. So our education also supports it, and local history therefore will just be parang an aside, an extra into the things that we teach in the schools. So what I'm saying is, you have to look at strengthening nationalist education in the schools via three phases, no? You have to have a long-term idea, parang a long-term plan, na eventually the change in education will happen only if it's connected to the structural change also in politics and in the economy. Eventually, we will have a good change also in education. In the medium term, changes in the curriculum, more inputs or more discussions on the local history could be a medium-term improvement in how we do education now. And in the short term, of course, opportunities to bring students outside of the classroom, to let them see the, what do you call this, the
real
opportunities, no? Opportunities, like what you said, places or spaces here in Cebu Heritage Hotel are weapons so that we won't forget. Cebu has those opportunities. We have a national museum. It's well curated. We have the Heritage Museum as well. We have the 1731 Jesuit House. And of course, we have this. So these are opportunities that we can be creative to bring students outside for them to know local history, because it makes them proud, no? So that they will not ghost their country. They'll make them proud that, you know, our Cebuanos can actually be leaders of change for the good.
So, salamat, Robert. So, I would also like to read the comments from our audience. So, we have the DepEd Taguig City and Pateros, Araling Panlipunan Supervisor and Teachers, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗃, and he is greeting us. And then he says, maligayang ikasiyam guning taong anibersaryo Pamgras mula sa SDO Taguig City and Pateros. And he also mentions that DepEd graduation theme is producing youth leaders with competence and character. So, daghang salamat also to Catherine Nabua, a former teacher of the University of San Carlos Basic Education. Daghang salamat for joining us. Daghang salamat also to Ellen, flag tour guide. And Ferdy is saying IPED, or Indigenous People's Education Madrasa Alive Makabayan, grades 1 to 3, focus on localization, contextualization, and indigenization. And think globally, act locally. So, I will summarize my questions for Robert, because we only have like a few minutes here because we will now start our contest. So, we would like to know if, in your opinion, would this be possible to would these stories about our Cebuano heroes help the students become better citizens in the future? And would if they know the bravery of our heroes, would this inspire them to fight against modern problems?
Yeah, I think you hit it in the head kanina when you mentioned about the 3 Ks, di ba? Kaisog, kalantip, o kaabtik, no? Wisdom, courage, and what's the decisiveness, no? So decisiveness. Those are things that are still needed in terms of confronting modern monsters. We have several monsters now, no? We have the issue on the oil deregulation, for example. That's a modern monster that is affecting everyone. And if we don't do something about it, then we will continually suffer whenever there's something that happens internationally. So that's a modern monster. We have the monster of the ghost projects, for example, corruption. That's still a modern monster. We don't. It's not a psychological scare anymore. It's concrete. We are really agonizing from these monsters. On top of that, we have political dynasties that are still pretty much in existence. So these are monsters that need to be confronted. And how do we confront these monsters? Sometimes our mga hamtong nga henerasyon medyo mag-alanganin because they're too tied up with their responsibilities, with work, with their businesses and all that. But the young people, I believe, are capable of imagining and taking risks because it's inherent in their DNA, in their nature as young people to be to seek adventure because they're interested in the future. It's them that will inherit what we do now. In fact, in the international scene, you have Greta Thunberg, for example. If you Thunberg, no, if you heard about her, she asked the question, "What's the use of going to school if you're going to destroy my world?" So it's better that I take a stand now so that I can make a change to improve this world. So the same message, I think, locally would inspire our young people, no? And that's the same message that I think we need to magnify, given to us by our heroes in 1898 in the 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 battle, for example. The shouts for freedom, the shouts for courage, the shouts for belief in their own abilities to defeat a monster, the monster of oppression by Spain back then. I think those are still valid shouts that we need to enhance and to awaken in our young people. Sometimes our young people now may get too distracted with their screens, but it doesn't mean that they're not paying attention. They're listening, they're observing, they are absorbing, and the time will come that when we have that historical chance to ignite the courage in them, they will stand up and take the leadership together with the mass number of other people, the majority who suffer, no, who will stand with them. They may not have the courage to do it on their own, but if they know that they have the mass number of people who are suffering, who take their side and who will stand with them, then they will take courage to really stand up and take the lead. And their dreams will become concrete when they transform this into actions. And that can be in their speeches, that can be in their write-ups, that can be in their animations. Eventually, that can be in their mobilizations as a collective.
So dahil salamat, Robert, we're so hopeful. We're so happy that you are still you still do not lose hope. Because we actually, di ba, when we look at comment section of mga social media posts, they're always like, okay, the mga gore, ang mga gore, those even the Gen X or the boomers, they would always say that we would see from their comments in the, like, they already lost hope, like they lost hope for the young. They would say, they would always look back to the good old days when during our time, we were so independent. During our time, we worked so hard. So I'm so happy to hear that our educators, of course, for them to continue with their work, they should have, they're optimistic that the young will still work for a better country for all of us. So
yeah, I think that's an energy that we all have. No, I may have lost a lot of my youth, but I have not lost my youthful spirit. No, so we always remain youthful in spirit, and then that will never vanish from us, no matter how much we age by years. And
So-
that youthful spirit will bring hope to a better world because the youth is the continuity of society. Mangyod bisagon sa nato.
So of course, if the young people don't have the spirit of the youthful spirit, and they will think and act like old people, pero kita kay we have kanang our age may increase in number, but our spirit of being youthful, nga ang youthful spirit always sees the good or the positive or the optimism or the bright future.
The potential.
The potential.
Rather than the
dili pa depressed. Kaya kung depression is murag sa mga gore na siya. So anyway, we have this we still have this book here at Pamgrass the Cebu Heritage Hotel, published by Pamgrass, A Short History of Cebu from 1500 to 1890s and the Anti-Spanish Revolution in Cebu. And this is a very important book that tells about our story as Cebuanos. So until 1890s. So we have many more books here at Pamgrass. We also have our anting-anting, really anting-anting, pero wala pa ni may chant na it's in our, wala pa ni orasyon. So we really got from the anting-anting makers, and it's still at our Sinugatan Gifts from Cebu to remind us that this actually emboldened our ancestors to fight against the Spanish colonial rule because they believe that this anting-anting would protect them from the bullets of the enemy. So this has also a role in our history. So it's the Vestidora. So we would like, pwede na ako i-show daan. We have this Cebu Hero stickers that we would like to show you that was made. So daghang salamat to one of the students of Ateneo who made this Cebuano Hero sticker. So pwede na nato
Is that still by Christine?
Oh,
Wow.
ang mga stickers. So
that's
30
nice.
pesos kada usa. She produced also this. She
It's very
printed it.
creative. No?
Oh.
So the youth have that creativity and energy.
I was very shocked and very honored when I was first invited to illustrate the book. And it was a really great experience because I was able to collaborate with fellow artists like my mentors and the writers who wrote the book. So it was very valuable to me. So before I could even start drawing everything, I first had to learn the history of the characters to understand them more, and so I could portray them properly and factually. So I was given a tour and a history lesson about these characters, and I definitely learned a lot from those history talks. I also learned how to portray these characters in my original style from my mentors. So that was the initial step, and then I started drawing drafts and getting them approved back and forth with my mentors and the other people involved in the process of making the book. And then a lot of round table discussions about the book. And eventually we ended up with the book. It's fun to revisit these characters again, these people actually. So it's fun that I can do more than what's limited in the book, because stickers is a whole different culture. So it's fun that I can integrate both history and stickers into one and allow people to enjoy both aspects equally. I don't really remember when I started drawing exactly, because I was told by my parents that I was drawing on every surface in the house. The things I was drawing back then were characters that I watched from cartoons and anime and games. But eventually I started shifting to more original art. I started going back to drawing characters from different medias because I started getting into conventions. So I started drawing and selling fan merch at these events. I'm happy to have the opportunity to revisit these characters again, to bring them to a different format that I'm more familiar with. I have confidence in bringing these characters back to life so people can enjoy these stickers in their own way, because stickers has their own culture, and it's fun to have both the historical aspect and the sticker aspect into one. I'm excited to work on these stickers, and I hope that the youth can enjoy them, because these stickers portray the various historical figures that's significant in our culture, and I hope that they can learn a thing or two when they see these stickers.
Congratulations na salamat to Christine Ann Sabaan, who was the illustrator of our Leon Kilat ang Sigbin book. It's out of print. Our Leon Kilat book is also out of print. We would print more copies. So we thank Christine, because she a product of Ateneo de Cebu with do more and be more. And so
You're selling us so much here. Huh?
Wala. Kaya tungod to ni Robert, without joke ha. So, aron yan, after our conversations here, we would go directly to the speech contest. So we have still here the stickers available of General Arcadio Maxilom. We have General Luis Flores, also Juliana Rivilles, and also Florencio Gonzalez. We have Leon Kilat and also Sigbin. I don't know if napay Sigbin nga sticker. So do we have any question now? So we have Robert. Do we have any question from the audience regarding, or you want to share? Usa lang ka question atong i-entertain. Does anyone have a question for our junior high principal Robert? Wala question. Okay, ganahan na sila magsugod ng contest. So now I would just like to ask for a closing statement, closing words from our resource person this afternoon regarding our how our youth or how our educational system can mold young people to become like fighters against modern monsters.
Thank you. I was, while you were showing the stickers, Miss A, actually the stickers thing is I come on for young people, no? They love stickers, and then I hope that we have more of approaches like that connect to the world of young people these days. Sometimes our generation, the older generation, or the more mature generation, no? Wag lang yung old na term. So the more mature generation may get frustrated with young people, but they bear so much hope. In the words of Pope Francis, he was saying the young people actually are the now of God. No, they are the future of the church. They are the future of our society, and he strongly believes in that. No, and if we look at and we hope for a more progressive Philippines, a just country where we deserve our leaders and where we deserve our government that will work for us, our young people need to imbibe and embrace stronger a nationalist education. That is something that is found in the current system that we have, but there's more that can be done. There's a lot that can be done still before they forget the lessons of our history. We're not doing as much right now, and this is perhaps a challenge and a call that I would want to put out there, no, to our education leaders, to leaders of schools, to teachers, to really be creative, to find ways to infuse, to teach our young our history, and not to let them forget where we came from, not to let them forget the blood, sweat, and tears sacrificed by our heroes. Because in our world, in this distracting world, and in this attention captivated world right now by social media, we may lose the young if we don't also combat and work counter-culturally against it. So our young people need to remember, and it is on us, teachers, educators, who would have to be very, very creative in making them remember, look back, and see history. So use whatever means at our disposal, be that in the household, in the classroom, outside the classroom, to expose them to the contributions of our heroes, the lessons from our past, and to strengthen the nationalist fervor and love of our people in our young. So I think with that, happy anniversary to Palmgrass Cebu Heritage Hotel, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this celebration, especially in celebrating the 128th Battle of Tres de Abril.
So a round of applause for our resource person. Very beautifully said. So I remember I'm from UP, but I would go to the University of San Carlos. I knew that Robert was one of those mga coaches ka, no, sa mga debate contest in USC. He was in a student political party at the University of San Carlos, and he was also a former seminarian, di ba? Columbus. Wa to ma-appeal sa imong introduction. So daghang salamat, and join us next we try next week to discuss about the fuel and energy crisis. We have a resource person. We are still asking him this tomorrow. So we would discuss about Lada o Guerra. And then, of course, we will also have on April 25, as we celebrate the 105th year of the victory at Mactan, we are searching for Lapu-Lapu's roots, and we discuss Orang Laot with UP Diliman Institute of Islamic Studies, Professor Darwin Absari, and also an advocate for Lapu-Lapu as a national hero, Ahmed Quizon. He will be with us once again. And of course, on May 15, we will have our discussion about the Visayas maritime power, as Visayas as an empire. But it was really the terror of the seas of Southeast Asia in the 1100s or in the 12th century. We will have Ateneo de Manila, former Ateneo de Manila professor and historian, Dr. Efren Isurena, on May 15 as to discuss trading and raiding in the Visayas as early as the 12th century. So, daghang salamat, and then daghang salamat to Robert, and good luck to all our students who are giving their speeches today.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause to our resource people who had our conversations for today, Magic versus the Modern Monsters, of course. Our moderator, Ms. Agripina Gavalondo, and of course, our resource person, our Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu Junior High School Principal, Mr. Roberto Galvan. So thank you very much, sir, for your aspirations and continuous hope and support for our youth. So ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our most awaited part, our hybrid Central Visayas speech contest with the theme, Dear Press the Abril Hero, Why I'm Not Ghosting Our Country. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we're going to start our competition, we're going to introduce our esteemed and dignified Board of Judges. And for our first judge, so I am here in my hand, a whole sheet of bond paper, the background of our Board of Judges. Usala naka-judge, huh? But I am going to omit the, the year, maybe not to expose the age. I'm just kidding. All right. So our first Board of Judge, he actually had a degree of Bachelor of Arts in Political Science in the University of the Philippines in the Visayas, Cebu. And of course, he also finished law at University of Cebu College of Law. And before becoming a lawyer, this is to inspire our student contestants today. Before becoming a lawyer, he was an active student leader and a socially concerned citizen. He was the regional convener of the 5th National Youth Parliament, Region 7 delegates from the specific year. And he has also been president of it's actually a lot in here, a lot of student organizations in the school. And he is also Dean's Lister. And he was also a writer and a business manager of UP Tug-Ani publication. Yep. Yes, back in the year 2000, and he was also an awardee of the UP Presidential Leadership Grant in the year 2001. All right, dito siguro na ma-expose ang age. All right. After taking his oath lawyer, he also worked as senior reviewer of Innodata Knowledge Services. And he also served as a board member of UP Alumni Association Cebu Chapter Foundation. And he's also one of the conveners of C4HR, that is actually Cebu, for Human Rights, who aims to promote and protect human rights, and has also been serving University of Cebu School of Law Alumni Association as alumni president. So right now, he is presently the president of Lawyers for Lenny Cebu chapter and the spokesperson of Stop the Attacks Movement for Peace or STAMP. And he is a trial practitioner and a head lawyer of Puhanes Law Office located at 826 Governor M. Cuenco Avenue, Nasipit, Talamban, Cebu City. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to our first judge, Attorney J. Puhanes. Attorney J. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to introduce our next judge. She finished the Bachelor of Philosophy with a double major in English, magna cum laude, University of San Carlos. A former faculty member, speech and drama section, English department, and the Department of Philosophy, USC. She's also a former faculty member of speech and philosophy in the University of the Philippines, Cebu. A distinguished Toastmaster, DTM, Cebu Toastmasters Club, the Mother Club. Stage, TV, and movie actor in Cebuano and English, arts and culture advocate, Miss Marlinda Angbetek Tan. A big round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen, our third board of judge is actually somebody that I also look up to. He is currently the Director for Editorial Oversight and Corporate Affairs of Sunstar Publishing Incorporated, and a communication educator who has spent more than 2 decades in both journalism and academia. Over the course of his career, he has taken on various roles as a reporter, editor, and journalism educator, contributing to the practice of responsible journalism and the training of future communicators. He has also been involved in a number of community and cultural initiatives, particularly those that support education, youth development, and local heritage. Among this is his leadership in the rebranding of Junquera Street Initiative, an effort that seeks to shift its image by highlighting the stories, dignity, and livelihood and the welfare of the youth along Junquera Street. Through his work, he continues to advocate for ethical media practice, community engagement, and a meaningful use of communication in nation building. His latest endeavor, the Sunstar Junior Giorno program, now on its 3rd year, has reached a growing number of young people across different parts of the province, aiming to nurture their interest in journalism while helping them better understand and resist misinformation and disinformation. Ladies and gentlemen, our third board of judge, Dr. Nestor Godofredo Ramirez. So ladies and gentlemen, here is the speech contest judging criteria. So historical and accuracy and relevance. We also have delivery and stage presence, and impact and the overall creativity. We will also have a Netizen's Choice Award. Videos of the performances will be posted on Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel's Facebook page. Voting is until the 5th of May this year. Okay? The entry with the most reactions by the 5th of May 2026 will receive the Netizen's Choice Award. Okay, so padaghanay ni siya reaction, i-heart ni siya, i-like ni siya, diba? I-wow ni siya, padaghanay og reaction, okay? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 𝗠់•Abril, Why I'm Not Ghosting My Country. A big round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen, may we call on our contestant number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, our contestant number 1 is a grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, Basak Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu Division of Lapu-Lapu City. Grade 11 student, 𝗠់•Kahuban.
Mic test, trust the Abril 128. Mic test. Mic test, trust the Abril 128.
All right, another round of mic test for our contestant number 1.
Mic test, trust the Abril 128.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our contestant number 1, grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿. Your speech starts now.
3 centuries of silence shattered by a single strike. 128 years ago, you did not just stand at the crossroad. You became the storm. A son of Negros who chose the soil of Cebu, you proved that bravery knows no borders. Armed not just with a blade, but with a strategic defiance that refused to kneel, you shattered the myth that the Filipino was destined to be a servant. You were the Kilat that woke a sleeping nation. But today, in 2026, we have a different silence haunting our streets. We live in a culture of ghosting, where living is seen as winning and staying as losing. We see public funds vanishing while hospitals lack beds, political dynasties choking our growth like veins, and a justice system that catches the small flies while the big ones break through. It is easy to look at this rot and decide that this country is not worth saving. But General, hear my vow. I am not ghosting our country. I stay. First, because of the depth of sovereignty. Our freedom was a down payment made in blood by men who never saw the receipt. To ghost our country is to hand your hard-won victory back to the plunderers. I refuse to ghost our country because I stay. Second, for the struggle of our soul. When the brave and the articulate leave or ghost these islands, we leave the keys of our house to the thieves. I refuse. I would rather voice out than to be a ghost on a foreign land. Finally, I stay because I believed in localized lightning. You did not wait for a clean government to start the revolution. You started the revolution to clean the government. We are the medicine, not the melody. We are the disruption to the corruption. I am staying to build. I am staying to heal. And I am staying. That is all. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, contestant number 1. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our contestant number 2, a student from Cabangahan National High School, Division of Cebu Province, a grade 11 student, Bernadine Vallejo. So, Bernadine, let us try your mic test.
Mic test. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿 128. Mic test. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿 128.
All right, thank you ever so much for that, contestant number 2. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, A grade 11 student from Cabangahan National High School, Consolacion Cebu Division of Cebu Province, Bernardine Vallejo. Your speech starts now.
A vow beyond time. To you, hero of 1898, one who stood when fear was louder than hope, one who chose our country, Bayan, motherland. I speak across time. You fought with courage carved from sacrifice. You faced real monsters, colonizers, oppression, silence, and yet you stayed. Today, we face different monsters. They do not always carry guns. They wear suits. They hide in system. They whisper in the form of corruption. They roar through disasters. They linger in apathy, misinformation, and hopelessness. And many of us are tempted to disappear, to ghost our responsibilities, to scroll, to shrug, to say, wala na tayong magagawa. But today, I make a vow, not just for myself, but for the youth of this generation. We vow to stay. We vow to stay when it is easier to leave, to speak when silence feels safer, to act when excuses seem more comfortable. We're not blind to the struggles of our country. We see the flooded streets, the empty promises, the tired faces of our people. But just like you, we refuse to give up. Because loving this country is not just pride, it is persistence. We will fight not with bolos and rifles, but with truth and education, with integrity in small choices, with courage in everyday action. We will fight corruption by choosing honesty, even when no one is watching. Today, to you, hero of 1898, we may not stand on battlefields, but we stand in classrooms, in communities, in conversation. And we choose to stay. We choose to care. We choose to rise. Because the true enemy today is not just corruption or disaster, it is indifference. And we refuse to be indifferent. So hear us now. Our vow echoes your courage. We will not ghost our country. We will not abandon its story. We will not surrender its future. Instead, we will build it, protect it, fight for it until the freedom you dreamed of becomes the reality we live. Mabuhay ang kabataan! Mabuhay ang bayan!
And that was our contestant number 2, Bernardine Vallejo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, taking the space of the stage is our contestant number 3, a grade 6 student from Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu, Barangay Canduman, Mandaue City, Cebu, Division of Mandaue City, grade 6 student, Vera Moira S. Chua.
Mic test. Trust the
Take a
Abril
mic test.
128. Mic test. Trust the Abril 128.
Thank you, Zara Moira. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a grade 6 student from Sacred Heart School, Cebu, Ateneo de Cebu, Vera Moira S. Chua. Your speech starts now.
Dear hero of Tres de Abril, I speak to you, not just with words, but with courage, strength, and heart. April 3, 1898 was once just a day to me. But now I see it as a decision, a choice. On that day, you, Leon Kilat, chose to rise. You chose to fight, even when you knew the odds were against you. You could have backed down. You could have run away when things became too hard. You could have waited for a safer time. And maybe freedom would still come. But you didn't. You chose to stand. You chose to fight. even when you knew it would be difficult. You walked I began to understand why. You were fighting people who tried to change who we are as Filipinos. People who took away our freedom and dignity. They were powerful and cruel. But you didn't run. You fought. With bolos in your hands, every swing brought you closer to a better future. Every step you took showed courage. If you could be this brave, why can't we? Why can't I? Today, many people don't describe our country as free. Instead, we hear words like poor, corrupt, and hopeless. But even with these problems, I will not choose to ghost the country you fought for. Your story inspires me to make a promise. I promise that I will not disappear when my country needs me most. Just like you, I will choose to stand my ground, even when fear whispers that it's easier to walk away. Because courage is not only found in history, it must be lived by people like me. Ako, ikaw, kita, mga bag-ong katipunero, ang nasod pilion ta.
Well, that was our grade 6 student from Sacred Heart School at Ateneo de Cebu, contestant number 3, Zira Moira Estrua. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our contestant number 4 is a grade 11 student from Sacred Heart School at Ateneo de Cebu, Barangay Canduman, Mandawi City, Cebu, Division of Mandawi City, 𝗟𝗡𝗏 Luar. Take your
Mic
mic
test, trust the Abril 128. Mic test, trust the Abril 128.
All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, grade 11 student from Sacred Heart School at Ateneo de Cebu, 𝗟𝗡𝗏 Luar. Your speech starts now.
To the hero of Triste Abril, I write to you not from the battlefields you once knew, but from a nation you helped awaken. On April 3, 1898, you and 179 brave Cebuano Katipuneros rose before dawn, not with certainty, not with safety, but with courage. Armed mostly with bolos and belief, you drove a colonial power into Fort San Pedro, and for a fleeting yet powerful moment, reclaimed Cebu from more than 3 centuries of foreign rule. You fought not because victory was guaranteed, but because freedom was worth the risk. Yet your story did not end with triumph alone. Reinforcements came, gunboats fired, the mountains became your refuge. And your leader, Pantaleon Villegas, Leon Kilat, the lightning lion, was not even taken by the enemy, but by betrayal from within. Still, your story did not end there. Leaders like Arcadio Maxilum continued the resistance. The fight lived on because you chose to begin it. So today, I ask myself, if you could see us now, what would you think? Would you see a generation worthy of your sacrifice? Or would you see a generation slowly disappearing, choosing to ghost the very country you bled for? Because the truth is, our battles today are quieter, but no less real. We face corruption that erodes trust, disasters that leave entire communities unheard and unprotected, political leaders who serve themselves rather than our country, and a growing silence among the youth. A silence that whispers, leave, give up, find a better life elsewhere. And I understand that temptation. It is easier to walk away than to stay, easier to criticize than to care, easier to be a spectator than to fight. But then I remember you who fought with bolos against bullets, you who stood your ground even when retreat meant survival, you who continued even when betrayal struck from within. And I realized leaving was never the legacy you left to us. So today I make this vow. I will not ghost my country. I will not be part of the silence that allows injustice to grow louder. I will not turn away from communities left behind by floods, by poverty, by neglect. Instead, I will stay. I will stay and speak even when my voice shakes. I will stay and serve even when the work is unseen. I will stay and stand even when it is difficult to stand alone. Because heroism did not end with your generation. It was passed down to ours. You were the heroes of the past, the spark that ignited a revolution. We are the heroes of the present. And if we choose courage, the hope of the future. Dear hero, your battle was never meant to end in 1898. It lives on in every Filipino who refuses to give up. So no, we are not leaving. We are not disappearing. We are not the generation that walks away when the fight becomes difficult. We are not ghosts of your sacrifice. We are its continuation. And as long as there are young people who choose to stay, to fight, to hope, your revolution lives on. This is my vow, and this is our fight. Thank you.
Yes, and that was 𝗠tože𝗍𝗓𝗏, grade 11 student from Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu, our contestant number 4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome our contestant number 5, grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, Basak Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, Division of Lapu-Lapu City, 𝗠tože𝗍𝗓𝗏. Take your mic test, Keisha.
Mic test 128. I trust the Abril 128. Mic test, trust the Abril 128.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center, 𝗠tože𝗍𝗓𝗏. Your speech starts now.
A vow is meant to be lived. An unforgettable promise one swears. Good afternoon, distinguished assembly. I am Keisha. Everyone knows what a vow is, yet not all understand its weight. So, allow me to tell a tale of a young girl who once made a not-so-small vow. It was just like any other day. The sun was rising, and the school bell rang. The flag ceremony had just begun. There, in the middle of a vast field, stood a young girl. As the lupang hirang played, her heartbeat resonated with it. Dug, dug, dug. She looked at the flag slowly being raised, and something within her was ignited. Standing still, with her palm pressed against her chest, she vowed for her motherland. Do you know what her heartbeat sounded like? It was not dug dug, but it was, my heart belongs to this land. One day, when living seems better, I will stay here no matter what, do or die. She had made a vow. A promise that was too big for her small hands to grasp, yet tightly held by a young girl who did not yet understand its weight. However, one might still wonder, can that girl still honor that promise? Because in a country where economies feel precarious, where systematic failures stock up, and where leaders sometimes falter, how does one hold onto a vow made in simpler times? Or perhaps the better question is, what does it look like when it is kept? Well, as that girl who once stood beneath the rising flag under the same sky that bore to witness the courage of Trustee Abril, I did not let that promise remain a memory. Because while the heroes of Trustee Abril expressed their love through brazen acts of courage, standing, fighting, and sacrificing with everything they had, I found myself choosing a different path. One that may not echo with the same intensity, but carries the same intention. I stand before you now no longer as that small child, but as someone who has to come to understand the true weight of that promise. I vow to never turn my back from my motherland who needs its people today. And when frustration tempts me to become indifferent, I choose to remain aware instead of turning away. I may not have any grand actions to offer, nor heroic acts to claim, but I refuse to become someone who simply watches and walks away. In my own small ways, I stay. Because loving a country is not a blind devotion. It is choosing it again and again, even when it is difficult. So, to the heroes of Trustee Abril, to you, Leon Kilat, this is the vow that continues to live through me. I will not disappear like a ghost when my country is hardest to love. I will not turn away when it needs its people the most. Because a vow is not proven in grand declaration, but in the quiet, unyielding decision to stay.
And yes, that was 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀, grade 11 student from Science and Technology Education Center. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down to our contestant number 6, a grade 12 student from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, Mandaue City, Cebu, Division of Mandaue City, 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗍𝗏𝗏 𝗠𝗴𝗏𝗍𝗏𝗏. Take your mic test.
Mic test. Test the Abril 128.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our grade 12 student from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏𝗏. Your speech starts now.
Why I choose to stay. Dear Leon Kilat, hero of the 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗃 uprising, if you could see us now, would you be proud of us? You were known as the lightning lion, feared for your strength and followed because you chose to fight when others were afraid. You led a revolution with a belief in a country that was not yet free. Your time was marked by sacrifice, by people who were willing to risk everything for freedom. And I wonder, if you saw this, would you recognize the kind of fight we are in now? Because unlike your time, the enemies we face today do not come from distant shores, nor do they march under foreign flags. We face them in our own communities, in our own systems, not as war, not as invasion, but as corruption. And because of that, we, the youth of today, including myself, are also in a battle, not against invaders, but against injustice, not with weapons, but with integrity and the courage to speak and act. Our generation is often labeled scrolling, posting, ghosting. But if you could see us now, I believe that you would also see something else. We may not carry bolos, but we carry truth. We may not march into battlefields, but we stand up in classrooms, in communities, in our country. And maybe you would ask, why stay? Why choose a country that is still struggling? Why fight battles that are not always seen? Because this is not just history to us. This is our future. We choose to confront these challenges, we choose to confront these challenges not with force, but through everyday decisions, by speaking up when something is unjust, by choosing what is right, and by refusing to accept what we know is unfair. Living is easy, but as Filipinos, we choose to stay because that is where the real fight begins. And because of that, Leon Kilat, I make this vow. I will not turn away when my country needs people who care. I will not stay silent when I see injustice, and I will not give up on the future you fought to give us. Leon Kilat, your battle did not end in 1898 and continue in us, in our voices, and our choices, and our courage. We, the youth, are not just here to post or ghost, but here to serve, to lead, and to choose this country the most. Thank you.
And that was 𝗠𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our contestant number 7, a grade 11 student from Abellana National School, Osmeña Boulevard, Barangay Sambagdo, Cebu City, Division of Cebu City, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 your mic test.
Mic test 128. Mic test 128. This is Rad speaking. Yes.
All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, our grade 11 student from Abellana National School, Red Spencer G. Fernandez. Your speech starts now.
General Pantaleon Villegas, you're within us. How many of you have asked yourselves, are you someone who chooses to stand and fight with others? Or are you one of the unseen, silent, distant, a ghost. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day. I am Red Spencer G. Fernandez. Growing up, I envisioned becoming patriotic, bold, and a responsible citizen until I discovered someone in our history who already lived them. He is none other than General Pantaleon Villegas Bang Leon Kilat. His legacy is not just written in history books, it is etched in who we are. Yet, many Filipinos, even Cebuanos, forget this. Kilat led, fought, and stood his ground during the Battle of 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 at a young age. Unlike us, who sometimes choose silence over voicing out, comfort over action, and safety over growth. History should not only be remembered, it must be continued. Let us use the fire he ignited, the same fire that lives within us today. If I could tell him a statement, it would be this. Like you, I am not ghosting our country. Here's how I choose not to ghost our country, especially in today's rising fuel crisis. Firstly, on my way here at Pamgas, the Cebu Heritage Hotel, I chose to walk to conserve fuel energy and be mindful of my resources, just as Kilat was strategic in his time. Secondly, I lead like Kilat as the newly elected Vice President of the Division Federated Cebu City SSLG and newly elected President of Abellana National School SSLG. I embodied the courage of Kilat when he led Cebu against the Spanish colony. Ultimately, I speak, serve, and stay even when it feels uncomfortable. So let this be our reminder to be people who choose to act, lead, and care, not those who simply exist and disappear. Because like him, we are not meant to fade. We are meant to stay, fight, and serve because this country needs presence, not absence. General Pantaleon Villegas, I will continue to hold your beat. Thank you very much.
And that was our contestant number 7, Red Spencer G. Fernandez from Abellana National School. And now, ladies and gentlemen, up next is our contestant number 8, another grade 11 student from Abellana National School, Division of Cebu City, 𝗠់Bag-ong.
Mic test, 1, 2, 3. Mic test.
All right, 𝗠់, take your another mic test. Take another mic test, 𝗠់, whenever you're ready.
Mic test, 1, 2, 3.
Alright.
Gamay. Hello, hello. Mic test. Again, mic test, 1, 2, 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our grade 11 student from Abellana National School, our contestant number 8, 𝗠់. Your speech starts now.
Tugo ang tinta. Kaliyan ang gawa. Dear General Pantaleon Villegas, Leon Kilat, hear me. On the afternoon of April 3, 1898, while the rest of the world saw a quiet Palm Sunday, you saw a moment for revolution. At the crossroads of Virama and 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, you and your men faced the Spanish forces with nothing but bolos and an iron refusal to be broken. You didn't hide. You didn't retreat. You didn't ghost the Visayan people when the bullet starts flying. Today, 128 years later, the battlefield has changed, but the enemies remain. Apathy, greed, global pride. Standing on the very ground where your revolution echoed. As a Cebuano, I am here to tell you, I refuse to be a ghost in my own country. Global greed and distant wars are no longer just headlines. They are hunting our homes and stealing our survival. General, why can't I ghost my own country? I stay because staying is an act of resistance. This crisis demands a response from all of us, and it starts with me. Here is my vow to you, the hero of 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿. I will not ghost our economy. I will champion the local Cebuano vendors who refuse to fold under the weight of this crisis. I will not ghost our truth. As a student journalist of Abiliana National School, I will use my pen to expose the greed that fuels this inflation and speak for those whose voices are drawn out by the noise of conflict. I will not ghost our future. I will finish this education and dedicate my skills in building a Philippines that no longer has to choose between a bread and gasoline. General, you gave your life so that our generation could own this land. I give my voice to ensure that we don't lose it to indifference. I am staying. I am speaking. I am fighting. I am not ghosting the Philippines. Because it is the true essence of being a Filipino. Thank you. Thank you.
That was 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀, our contestant number 8 from Abiliana National School. And right now, taking up space on the stage, our grade 11 student from Bag-ong National High School, Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, Division of Lapu-Lapu City, Dean Vincent Puso.
𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗏 at 128. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗏𝗏 at 128.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our grade 11 student from Bag-ong National High School, our contestant number 9, Dean Vincent Puso. Your speech starts now.
Dear Leon Kilat, I speak to you not as a historian, but as a student living in the present you helped shape. Today, you fought in a time when the enemy had a name, a face, and a flag. Today, our battles are much more different and harder to see. Many of us are tempted to ghost our country, to leave without goodbye and build lives elsewhere, where systems seem kinder and futures more certain. Now, I understand this temptation, and truthfully, I've considered it as well. But somewhere along the way, I found a reason to stay. I wanted to teach. Because one teacher changed my life, and I realized that sometimes that's all it takes. For one person that makes you believe in yourself, in your community, and in a future worth staying for. But when I told them about that dream, I was met with doubt. They told me to, don't become a teacher here, or that the pay isn't enough, the system is flawed, and that some students are just hopeless. Now, for a moment, I was distraught. But then I realized something deeper. It is not just these broken systems that plague our country. It is the loss of faith within our motherland. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗏𝗏, your struggle did not end in your time. It simply changed form into corruption that feels normal, apathy that tells us that nothing will change no matter what we do, and the belief that leaving is better than to stay and build. But despite all that, I refuse to leave. I choose to stand in a classroom even when the walls are worn and the system is flawed. I choose to believe in students even when they find it hard to believe in themselves. And that is how a nation is built. If one student begins to believe in themselves because someone chose to stay, and that student's life changes another, that is how a nation is rebuilt from the ashes. In these quiet daily acts of commitment that say, I am not leaving this country. I will grow with it. So no, Leon Kilat, I will not ghost this country. I am choosing it every single day. And maybe loving a country isn't just believing that it is already great, but by believing that it can be something more and being part of that change. This is my vow to you and to every Filipino who came before me and to every Filipino who will come after. Thank you.
And that was then Vincent Puso, our grade 11 student from Bag-ong National High School. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome on stage our contestant number 10, a grade 12 student from 𝗟𝗏𝗏 National High School, Barili, Cebu, Division of Cebu Province. Grade 12 student, our contestant number 10, Sherilyn B. Pat.
Mic check.
Take your mic test.
𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗀 128. Mic check.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a grade 12 student from 𝗟𝗏𝗏 National High School, contestant number 10, Sherilyn B. Pat. Your speech starts now.
The battle cry of today. It is a defensive reflex of almost any organism to walk away when things are going downhill. Even birds migrate due to unfavorable climate, and some animals opt dormancy to endure extreme seasons. So as human beings, I would say it is reasonable to ask what the best survival strategy is when your home is subjected to illicit and destructive forces. Some would say ghosting our country, but I vow to do otherwise for 3 major reasons. My first reason is rooted in both history and legacy. Centuries ago, we were colonized. Our ancestors lived with fear and abuse that was in all aspects outright vile. And in what seemed like an endless cycle of conflict with no resolution, our people refused to surrender. They resisted a system that marred our nation so we could gain independence. Evidently, today's freedom is the future they fought for. My second reason is centered on both civic and legal footing. As citizens, we have the power to kindle change through our votes and plebiscites. Additionally, Article 2, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution provides the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority emanates from them. Basically, we are the backbone of our nation. And even the highest law of the land in the Philippines recognizes that. And my last reason focuses on us today. We have witnessed our countrymen flounder under the strong, ruthless gushes of flood waters. We have seen disasters steal lives, properties, and stability, and we have been subjected to countless adversities whose impact could have been mitigated if only our resources were put to good and rightful use. Corruption, for instance, renders our nation unable to progress. In fact, it becomes the root cause of major predicaments to materialize. Ghosts and substandard projects result in more budget wasted and more lives destroyed as if those were mere collateral damage. And it is unjust and extremely aggravating to rebuild after what could have been an avertible situation. Yet again, that is what we do every day. We battle, we stand up, and we survive because the Philippines is worth fighting for. Being a modern warrior, it is imperative for us to realize that corruption and futile disaster interventions are undermined when integrity is seen as a top priority both in governance and in citizenry. Truly, a different enemy always calls for a different fighting mechanism. It is not through wars, nor through apathy and disengagement that we can extricate our country. Rather, it is through education and collective mobility that we can actually stand a chance for something positively pivotal to happen.
Sherilyn Pat from 𝗟𝗏𝗏 National High School, contestant number 10. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome on stage our contestant number 11, grade 12 From Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, Mandaue City, Cebu. Grade 12 student Henrik Jean Niones. Take your mic test.
Mic test. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀 at 128. Mic test. 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀 at 128.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our grade 12 student from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, contestant number 11, Henrik Jean Niones. Your speech starts now.
We all know Ariel. Yes, the Little Mermaid, who've always dreamt of going up on the surface. Well, the thing about Ariel is that she was desperate. She was not wanting. It was totally quite opposite of her song, I Want to Be Where the People Are. Instead, she was desperate of where the people were. Therefore, in order to go to the land, she traded her voice, her family, and of course, her very own identity for a pair of toes. Yes. And that was somehow relatable to us because as a person of today, we want to go outside the Philippines. Maybe our solid ground or where we want to be, where the people are, is a visa to Dubai, work in Canada, or a permanent residency in Singapore. Because many people believe that the Philippines is, in fact, hopeless, full of corrupt people, full of foolishness. Yes, that's what we all think of Philippines right now. Am I wrong? I don't think so. But the thing is that even though it's like that, there was someone I remember, someone who stood and think differently instead of leaving the Philippines. And his name was Pantaleon. Let's just call him Leon Kilat, okay? His name was Leon Kilat. And 128 years ago, he and his men had a different plan. Instead of going beyond the Philippines, he stayed. Take note, Leon Kilat was a migrant worker, a circus performer. He knows what's outside there, the opportunities waiting for him, but he chose to stay. April 3, at the corner of what we now call 3 de Abril, he and his men fought and shook the Spanish Empire. He stayed, and Cebu breathed the freedom they've wanted. Cebu breathed for 5 days for the freedom they've earned through blood, not by treaty. So, I am Henrik Jean Niones, and this is my vow. I promise to stay in the Philippines, whatever may happen, however corrupt, however foolish people or other country might think of us. I will stay and I will apply my education to our own country because the opportunity is beyond infinity. Thank you.
Contestant number 11, Henrik Jean Niones from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School. Thank you, Henrik. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our contestant number 12 is a grade 11 student from Talamban National High School Division of Cebu City. Contestant number 12, Samantha Kate Mingo. Take your mic test.
Mic test 1 2 3. Mic test 1 2 3. This is 𝗠់𝗴𝗏𝗿𝗀.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a grade 11 student from Talamban National High School, contestant number 12, Samantha Kate Mingo. Your speech starts now.
I will soon abandon this country and enjoy a peaceful life somewhere far away. Maybe in America, maybe in Canada, or maybe even in Japan. This was a dream I once had. Ever since I learned of the Battle of 3 de Abril, I realized that that was such a foolish dream. It made me think, how could I, a supposed proud Filipino, ever think of leaving my country when a bunch of heroes sacrificed their lives to give us the peace we now enjoy? It made me think that I was a coward for ever thinking of wanting to leave the Philippines just because it faces difficulties every now and then. I may be just a child and I may not be rich, but how could I ever forget that there's power in unity? So now I, alongside my fellow Filipino youth, will choose to stand up and speak up for the Philippines as warriors in our own right. We are not always powerless. It is not every day that we get to witness a vow being made. We usually see this during weddings when a couple vows to one another that they will love each other for all of eternity, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. In a similar way, I wish to make a vow. I will do it here and I will do it now and have you all as my witness. A vow that started with the heroes of 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏 and will continue with me and the future generations of Filipinos. I vow to you, Pantaleon Villegas, and the heroes of 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏, that I will not sit idly and watch our nation crumble when challenges arise. I, alongside my fellow Filipinos, will choose to speak up and use our voices to defend our nation, defend our culture, and defend the peace you all fought for and obtained. So now, with this vow of mine, I wish that it invokes something within you, within all of you, as much as the battle of 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏 did to me. Because their blood, sweat, and tears were not for naught. This is what we are living in today. What they fought for and what they obtained is the Philippines that we are now living in this generation. Thank you, everyone.
Well, that was Samantha K. The Mingo grade 11 from Talamba National High School, our contestant number 12. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our last but never the least contestant this afternoon. And that is our contestant number 13, a grade 11 student from Talamba National High School, Division of Cebu City. Contestant number 13, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗄𝗏. Take your mic test.
Testing 1 2 8. Testing 1 2 8.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our grade 11 student from Talamba National High School, our contestant number 13, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗄𝗏. Your speech starts now.
Ghosting. We've heard of this word before, right? It's when we leave someone without a word. And the exodus of Filipinos leaving our shores each year feels no different. Maayong hapon, I am 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗄𝗏, here to present Raft Over Yacht, Why I Am Loving My Country Through Thick and Thin. Growing up, I was told to study hard, get a job, and move to the States. And when I was a kid, all of this made sense. My relatives were sending me balikbayan boxes filled to the brim with gifts. But as I grew older, I've begun to question this rhetoric. Why should I study hard and move to a country that's not mine? Wouldn't it be wiser to use my own talents to serve my country? Being there on the ground, serving our nation, just like Leon Kilat. When the Spaniards were closing in on Cebu, Leon Kilat stayed until his very, very last breath. They say he was as swift as a bolt of lightning and as strong as that too. Now, I want to know, if you had his haste today with his amulets and a storm is about to crash, would you go to the house already made or the unfinished one by your people? Just as the Katipuneros then needed a blueprint for our country, our home, we need one for the future, a plan to stay. Staying isn't just a gesture or a promise, no. It's being a productive member of society, honoring your parents, fighting misinformation, voting wisely, and practicing bayanihan. and so much more things you can do for your country. Yes, the path abroad is quicker, and to those who leave, I do not question their path because they too have made sacrifices abroad. But the 179 original Katipuneros could have left too, but they didn't. They decided to fight for an independence we now all get to enjoy. Dear Pantaleon Villegas, I will not abandon my raft for a yacht. I'd like to remind my people, the Philippines is not a sinking ship, rather an unfinished masterpiece. And history is a conversation that I am willing to be a part of and here to make my story, even if my blood must be the ink. Thank you.
That was AJ Kumaling, grade 11 student from Talamban National High School, requesting to please stay on stage as you will be joined by all other contestants to be back on stage. So let's call on, starting from contestant number 1, we actually have 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏. Thank you so much. Please join on stage contestant number 1, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀 from Science and Technology Education Center. Our contestant number 2, Bernadine Vallejo, grade 11, Cabangahan National High School. Contestant number 3, we have Vera Moira S. Shua, grade 6 from Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu. Contestant number 4, Althea Cassandra S. Luar, grade 11 from Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu. Contestant number 5, Keisha Oz Apa, Science and Technology Education Center. Contestant number 6, Angel Laika Sereno, Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School. Contestant number 7, Red Spinzer G. Fernandez from Abayana National School. Contestant number 8, Shin Nesdel Bag-ong, Abayana National School. Contestant number 9, Dan Vincent Puso, Babag National High School. Contestant number 10, Sherilyn Fat, Hilugtog National High School. Contestant number 11, Zenric Jean Niones, Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School. Contestant number 12, Samantha Kate Mingo, Talamban National High School. And contestant number 13, AJ Kumaling, Talamban National High School. So everybody smile for a photo opportunity. Only here at Palmgrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our contestants for today's hybrid competition, Visayas Speech Contest. A big round of applause to our 13 lovely contestants who have shared their prowess today on their speech, Dear Hero, Why Am I Not Leaving This Country? And so, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we are actually going to hear reactions, comments, suggestions, recommendations that are coming from our esteemed and distinguished board of judges. And of course, together with that is going to be facilitated by our very own Madam Agripina Guevelondo. A big round of applause to our board of judges, please. So we can start with Ms. Agripina Guevelondo.
So, maayong hapon once again. Tugno kay dire. Congratulations to all the contestants. You have very brilliant, very creative, and very inspiring speeches. So, daghang salamat. We are so, it's really so heartwarming. I got so emotional listening to you. And we see so much hope in you, in your words. I hope that you were the ones who really wrote your speeches. so actually, so we know that it's not literal. Ghosting, you are present, but you can be outside of the country but still working for the country. So for example, Dr. Rosa Rizal, the propaganda movement, the first propaganda movement, it started in outside of the country, but what they did, they sacrificed hard write and to speak about what is happening in the country. So, but it's still it's also correct that you should be present. And we see so much people, they are present in our country, but they are working against the interests of our people. So you can be present, but absent in spirit and in heart and spirit, because when you are not working for the benefit, especially of the majority who are poor, who have nothing to eat, who are homeless, who don't have clothing, the basic needs. So that's why we have these contests every quarter, like during the birthday of Leon Kilat on July 27, the birthday of General 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗓 on November 13, during the Battle of Tres de Abril. So we have this because we want to hear our youth, because you are the future. And so we are really thankful for your words, and we are so happy. We are it keeps us inspired to keep on doing this and to hear your words that in the future you become the leaders of this country, not ghosting our people, and really looking at having the heart that cares, having the heart that would choose our people rather than profit. Or it would be very hard if we are made to choose between mga maleta of cash and the welfare of the people. What would you choose? Well, it would be very hard, no, di ba? Which would you choose? Paldo? Paldo or the people? So, in the future, when you become leaders, it would be very hard to choose. And we hope that you will choose not to be ghost. So, daghang salamat. Congratulations once again.
Thank you ever so much for that, Madam Agripina Gibalonda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us also hear from our first judge, Attorney J. Bohannes. Attorney J.
Hello, good evening. So, thank you very much for your very inspiring speeches. So, hearing them from the youth who are the future of this country, so I'm very hopeful and inspired. I like those who rendered their speeches in a very sincere way. So I hope that you were the one who wrote them, because some of you, when I listened to, so those persons really made me believe that you are sincere in your delivery of your speech. So the content is also very good. Like, for example, you relate it to your personal experience. So that shows that you really know what you're saying. And then the message is also correct. Apathy breeds injustice. For evil to succeed, it is enough for good men to do nothing. So that's a form of ghosting if you don't participate at all or care to what's happening around you. You may be present in this country, as what Ms. A said, but if you're not participating, you're not trying to counter misinformation, or at least helping the oppressed, those who are underprivileged, you're basically not here. You're ghosting this country. You're not contributing at all. So I hope that when you grow up, you become good men and productive citizens of this country. Thank you. Men and women.
Well, thank you very much for those words, Attorney J. Bohannes. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear words from Madam Marlinda Angbetek-Tan.
Yes, congratulations, everyone. It was something for you to stand there and deliver. That in itself was already an achievement. So congratulations. There are two things that I would like to put forth. As a Toastmaster, it's one thing to declaim, it's another thing to orate. And this is an oratorical contest. Okay? I am an actor. I would really want to act out, but acting is only good with declamation. When you're giving a speech, it's oratory. And even if you put drama or certain kind of strong feeling during your speech, it's still speech. Okay, don't forget that. Second, in Toastmasters, we don't usually use props because props are for drama. In fact, one of our international candidate lost because she used prop. The prop that we have for Toastmasters when we give a speech is our body. You use your hand, you use your eyes. Remember to have eye contact at all times. And there was one who had very good eye contact. There was one. Oh no, I'm just looking at my very good eye contact. Now, most of you lack movement. I don't know why. Maybe because you were so, you're so attached to the microphone. You're not supposed to be attached to the microphone. There was one who you can use this and then move this, and then this is just a tool. So don't be attached to it. And thirdly, own your speech. As what Attorney Jay said, we know it. We immediately get magnetized and listen to you if we see that you own your speech. You may not have written it. It could be something like a speech from Julius Caesar. But if you own it, like it came from your heart, and you're just saying it out and sharing this with us, then that will draw us in and listen to you. Rather than beautiful sentences, beautiful words, and then we know that you really were just memorizing it. Okay. Engage your audience. Engage your audience from the start of it up to the end of it. And thirdly, in Toastmasters, we don't say thank you. You don't thank the audience for listening to you. In fact, we, the audience, would thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Always remember that. Okay. Those are the things as a Toastmaster that I would like to share with you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you ever so much for that, Madam Marlene Daang Detectan, for sharing your expertise in, shedding us some light on the difference between declamation and oratorical speech. Thank you ever so much for that, Madam Marlene Daang. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, our third judge, Dr. Nestor Ramirez.
First of all, I would like to demonstrate my learning just a while ago. Thank you for sharing, for inspiring me, for rekindling in me my activism and my patriotism. Okay, I may not be the activist like the others who go to the street, but with my journalism, I act as the watchdog. I write and expose those who ghost our money, who ghost our projects. Saturdays, weekends are actually a default for me to be at home, to be with my children. But wa ko magmahay gani ari ko, because as what I've said, I learn from my colleagues here and I learn a lot from you. It's not something new to me, but it helped me. It fuels up in me to go on. No, I want to discuss on how we can further disseminate their pieces. I want to publish. I will ask my principal at Sunstar, no, if we can publish. I'll ask our president if we can publish all this, because this is in line with what we are doing. No? Every Sunday since 3 years ago, we've been publishing articles, opinions from campus journalists. You may not be a campus journalist, but you can be now. because you have written something, you have a content that that yeah, worth sharing, that our platform could echo, could however reach some more, because that is us in the media. That is mass communication. That is where this good message reach wide heterogeneous audience. Mag-post magani mo, aga-away lang mo sa inyong uyab. How much more about Leon Kilat? No?
Diba?
So my activism is in journalism, because I know that if journalism dies, if your idealism would also trickle, democracy will follow. Keep it up.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Nestor Ramirez, and to our Board of Judges for sharing your expertise and opportunities and the rooms for improvement, diba? Naman siya mga opportunities for improvement, diba? Who knows, diba? This is just a small stage that we have right now, but in the future, who knows that these young student, baka ingo ko, baka young, no? Apil pa ba ko sa mga young ones, or basin apil ako sa mga ones young? That these young students, diba, are going to take a bigger stage in the future, and you guys are giving us hope that, you know, it's really the youth is the future of our generation, diba? Especially for the Philippines. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let us give a big round of applause to our Board of Judges, and of course to our contestants, 13 lovely contestants that we have today. And of course, the announcement of winners will be on May 15, 2026. So dili karon, okay lang, no? Kalma-kalma, no? Kay, wala na, pildi man ko, at least dili na karong adlaw. No, bitaw, kung mas napildi man karon, basin sa sunod, daog na. No? Pwede raman dyan gihapon mo daog, no? We're never closing doors for improvement for the second time around, diba? Or the third time, or maski ma 182 na sad mo. Parehas ni ano, Leon Kilat. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, ari sa mo ha, you have to stay with me. Kay diba, kulba kayo no, nga kamura usta diri sa stage. Kulba ano, diba? So kuyog sa tadiritanan, because later on, our upcoming events today, sa ulog activities for our 9th grand opening, anniversary of Pangrass sa Cebu Heritage Hotel, we will have a raffle draw of a free overnight stay. We will also have a singing contest of Abtik Paskilat songs daw ko, no? Kung sa to siya. We will also have games and prizes later on, and an anniversary dinner buffet at Kapihan ni Lumaya at 6 o'clock this evening. Karon na di ay nag-start, no? 6 to 10 o'clock in the evening. On April 25, we will also be having Orang Laut, searching for Lapu-Lapu's roots. On the May 15 connections, we will have Gabi sa Kabilin sa Pamgrass 2026, and the announcement of winners will also be on May 15, 2026. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanking all the audience who are present tonight, the supporters, the families, the friends, and the relatives, atong mga teachers, mga coaches who are here tonight, of course, our contestants, our Board of Judges. Thank you ever so much for celebrating with Pangrass, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. So ladies and gentlemen, for our... Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, may we invite everyone to please stand for our community singing of Alerta Katipunan, to be led by our Bag-ong Teatro, Junquera. Diba? Ladies and gentlemen, requesting everyone to please rise as we sing our community song, Alerta Katipunan, to be led by our Bag-ong Teatro, Junquera.
Alerta katipunan sa bukid, ang puloy anan, dito matagang taman. Kakapoy sa kalawasan, walay ulan, walay habon, walay banig. Pagkatulog, giunlan pa ang sundan, abanseng makalinisan. Alerta katipunan, ang tuson, ang kalisdanan. Dugangan nato ang kaisog, bisag mamatay pa sa panggubatan. Tumong natong idusok, nasutupson, paghupayon, dali na kita magkikisok, abanseng makalinisan. Alerta katipunan sa bukid, ang puloy anan, dito matagang taman. Kakapoy sa kalawasan, walay ulan, walay habon, walay banig. Pagkatulog, giunlan pa ang sundan, abanseng makalinisan. Alerta katipunan, ang tuson, ang kalisdanan. Dugangan nato ang kaisog, bisag mamatay pa sa panggubatan. Tumong nato inusog, nasutupson, paghupayon, dali na kita magkipisok, abanseng makalinisan. Alerta katipunan, abanseng makalinisan. Alerta katipunan, abanseng makalinisan.
Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Mabuhi! Oh. Mabuhi, uy! Alright, thank you so much, our Bag-ong Teatro Junquera. A big round of applause for everyone. And that was our Thursday Abril at 128 and the 9th grand opening anniversary of Congress, the Cebu Heritage Hotel. Once again, thank you so much to our lovely contestants. I think we will have a final photo opportunity together.